Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face while you're sleeping. It's an awful thing to have your home broken into, and sometimes it can end up being scary and strange. While most burglars only want to steal your valuables without being detected, some can show much more mind-boggling behaviors. Sometimes, some burglars are a bit craftier and may use one of these more creative and smarter, and sometimes very strange methods to break into your home. Check out these 10 strange ways thieves used to break in and showed very strange behavior. Number 10. A burglar in Oklahoma City did something really unusual. The resident of the house had the shock of her life when she walked into her home and found a man wearing slippers and cooking pizza for his 2 young daughters. It sounds like a normal Tuesday dinner, but that wasn't at all. Problem was that the house wasn't his. What's more surprising is that he actually asked her to come inside and invited her for the pizza. Her confusion and shock didn't really stop him. Of course, the woman called the police. After arriving on the scene, the guy became violent against the police and said that it was his own home. Next time you're going to rob a house, just pretend it's yours. You could get away with it. Ultimately, the man was taken into custody and his daughters were put into protective custody. Reports suggest that the man was delusional, but true burglary stories like this one remind us how important it is to have a monitored home security alarm and to keep it armed at all times. Number 9. You don't ever expect to get robbed on Christmas Eve, unless you're in the home of a Home Alone movie. Also, when you've known someone for 10 years, you wouldn't think that an individual would rob your home either, especially on Christmas Eve. But everyone is just busy on that day. And especially not your pastor. Well, in 2010, neighbors called the cops after they watched a girl enter the house next door. Police arrived to search, and they found out she was carrying fur coats into her Jaguar. According to Dallas Morning News, this fur thief told the cops she was merely protecting the property by moving them to a safer location. However, when homeowner Sarita Agnew arrived home and heard what happened, she didn't buy the story. She identified the intruder as Sandy McGriff, a 52-year-old pastor of a close-by church where she was once a member. It was later found out that she was actually stealing. Don't think God would be too happy about that one. Number 8. The fear of going to jail obviously isn't enough to hold certain people off their Facebook pages. Here's proof. In 2014, according to ABC News, Nick Wigg allegedly broke into a Minneapolis home and stole some cash, a checkbook, credit cards, and a watch. He may have had a safe getaway and still, unable to resist a laptop which was nearby, he signed into his Facebook account. Then, the landlord, James Wood, realizing that his valuables were gone, called the police and carefully researched Wigg's Facebook account. So, while driving around town, he kept his eyes peeled. And as luck would have it, he later saw Wigg walking around that day, wearing his stolen watch. Wigg was charged with robbery, but we're not sure if that'll cure him. Number 7. Ever drive past a beautiful house and think, wow, I wish that was my home? Well, in September 2015, while driving by a ranch in Kamloops, British Columbia, Christopher Hiscock had such the feeling. This was one of the weirdest break-ins ever, too. He made up his mind to pull into the driveway, walk right in because the door was open, and be happy. Hiscock, 33, immediately started straightening up the place from there. He was doing laundry for the family, fed their cats and horses, then showered and shaved, according to CBS News Nova Scotia. In the real homeowner's diary, he also wrote, Day 1. It was my first full day in the ranch today. I can just sit and relax here. The real homeowners found him on their kitchen counter sipping coffee and watching TV, a frozen steak thawing nearby. They called the cops and Hiscock was arrested. Hiscock, who was later released on probation, told the police he didn't have a home and could only go stay in the forest. Would you feel sorry for him? Let us know in the comments below. Number 6. Most burglars don't use ladders or ropes or dig holes to get into your house. In fact, the vast majority of burglars access homes through the doors and windows. 34% use the front door, and 22% use the back door to enter, according to a report. 23% use windows on the first floor. Sometimes, certain windows and doors are not even closed. Even things in your yard could be priority for the burglars. The vast majority of burglars are unskilled people who enter through open or unlocked windows and doors. Simply locking everything up will eliminate the bulk of burglaries. Number 5. This is the nudist break-in in the list. A few years ago, a couple from New Hampshire found a guy who was nude in their home from the waist down. Clearly drunk and wearing nothing but a t-shirt, the guy attempted to fight Derek McNutt, who was trying to defend his mother, Lindsay Bolton, and their 2 young kids, who had just been put to bed for the night. The pants-free burglar chased the landowner. Residents said he grabbed everything he could get his hands on, and at one point, Mr. McNutt was forced to use the high chair of his child to protect himself and finally threw the chair towards the attacker. Desperate to get this guy out of the house, the couple fled downstairs, only to unintentionally retrieve a bat from their vehicle. They locked themselves out of the room, while their 3-year-old and 5-month-old were still asleep inside. Somehow, they managed to get back into the home and threw more things at the half-naked burglar. The perpetrator eventually fled the scene, after taking a pair of pants with them. Almost immediately after the incident, Joshua O'Shea, who was the pants thief, was charged. This pantsless man really thought he could win in a fight against a man protecting his wife, children, and household. True burglary stories like this one are definitely not the norm, but there are enough of them to note that you should always expect the unexpected when it comes to building good home security. Number 4. This is the robbery story that's just stuck with us. It's the story of an elderly woman who prayed for the night before going to bed. A thief hiding under her bed heard her prayer, made his presence known, and turned himself in. There was a very similar story which was reported by the New York Times on September 26, 1897. A burglar shocked a woman after she had prayed out loud and climbed into bed. He told her that her prayer rescued her from being crushed and likely hurt by his accomplices who were waiting outside. Leaving the house, this was the last time the woman had considered that she would ever see the thief again, with a conscience. However, years later, she ran into the man at a camp meeting, and he was sharing his story of conversion that night with the meeting's attendees. Weird? Yeah, we know. Seems like God can change anyone. Number 3. Imagine being fast asleep at home with a young child in the next room when you unexpectedly hear someone screaming inside your house. That's exactly what happened when a woman in Nashville, Tennessee, found a bleeding man stumbling around her living room, shouting at the top of his lungs. Scared out of her wits, she quickly took her 2-year-old son out of bed and placed him in the bathroom of his room and locked the adjoining bedroom door so the screamer couldn't get inside. Unfortunately, she forgot her cell phone on the outside of the room, but she was smart enough to go back and get it, and then FaceTimed her mother, who called the police. The burglar was a local university student who broke through a window to get into the house. He's been arrested and charged, but this is one of those real burglary stories that just drives chills through your body. Stories like this often bring home the need to have a panic room with a fully charged mobile phone inside, a panic alarm next to the door, and, of course, a burglar monitor alarm. And with that, it's time for today's subscriber pick. Today's photo was sent to us by one of our subscribers, so if you come across a photo online and want to know more details about it, just send it on over to us. We might even feature it on a future video. Number 2. Yep, it seems like this picture's photoshopped, as we weren't able to find anything related to it on the internet. It would be almost impossible for anyone to use a banana, or any fruit for that matter, to open a locked door if you don't have the key. If that was possible, no robber would need a tool, just a banana to get into any home. Maybe a fruit could be used to jam the locking mechanism. That somehow got someone the idea to edit this video, but we don't think anyone's actually been able to open up a door with any fruit, let alone a banana.
Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you'll get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it. It really works.
Number 1. This is by far the creepiest burglar on the list. A Chicago burglar who breaks into a couple's house, steals nothing of material value, but tries on a pair of underwear from the female homeowner before lifting her picture and leaving the scene. All of this was caught on surveillance cameras and released on YouTube after some time. We can't believe that we're going to say this, but perhaps, had he really stolen anything of value, it would have been slightly less frightening. But this is far too creepy to put into words. To try on a woman's underwear and then take a picture of her. This guy hasn't been identified by the police so far, but let's hope they catch this panty thief very soon. That's today's list of 10 strangest ways thieves used to break in and do weird things in houses. What's the weirdest robbery story you've ever heard? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell notification button. And, as always, thanks for watching.